What's going on, man? Welcome back to the basement. I'm Ron, and this one's going to be a little bit different. What we got going on here is a little bit different. I hope I'm live right now. I think I did everything I needed to do to get us up and running, to get us live here. But what we're doing today is my top 10 lessons learned. It's going to be a live show. It's like I'm Jerry Seinfeld talking to you guys in the audience here. But essentially what happened was this morning, I rolled out of bed. I got a notification that Best Buy did a restock for the Xbox Ones or the Xbox Series X's. I want one really bad. I want one because I want to give you guys some good gaming content in the offseason, maybe like once or twice a week, probably once a week if I'm being honest with myself, maybe streams here and there just to, have fun with you guys on, Madden and all that kind of stuff. So drive a half an hour away at like 8 a.m., show up an hour and a half early to Best Buy before they even open, and boom, everything's already sold out. Everything is already sold out. Apparently, the sickos who stayed out overnight bought them all. Somebody walked out with like 7 Xboxes. So I'm without an Xbox. So one, I wasted my morning trying to get an Xbox, so I couldn't write this video. So now this has to be live, but it's going to be fun to do this live. And then the other thing is that if any of you guys know how to get an Xbox Series X, I know some of you guys out here watching know how to get an Xbox Series X. One, if you know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who works at Best Buy, let me know. Get me in contact with that guy so I can finesse an Xbox. Or two, if you had the notification set up right, or you, like, whatever you did to get an Xbox, let me know how to do that. I would love to get one by Christmas. Now, the task at hand today, now I explained why we're live here. What we're doing today is top 10 lessons learned. We're going to be live. I'm just going to go through. I'm going to, I'll glance at chat here and there. I'll talk to you guys here and there. I'll try and incorporate you guys. I haven't done this kind of show live yet, but what's good, fellas? What's good, Thomas? This is Thomas Anderson from my hometown. What's up, brother? But, all right. We're live. You ready? You ready for the intro live, fellas? All right, here we go. Make sure if you enjoy this video at any point in time, you subscribe, you leave a like. Let's go.
Thirsty, trying to choose. I know I'm pretty cool. My nitty babe.
All right, so lessons learned. We had a glorious day of football yesterday. Or it wasn't glorious. I'll be honest, the football wasn't great yesterday. It wasn't great. I wanted that Packers-Seahawks game to be amazing, but it wasn't. But my first takeaway is what's on everybody's mind. You guys saw it on the thumbnail. My first takeaway, lesson learned, whatever you want to call it, A.J. Dillon is going to be a problem. He's going to be a problem. And I say that because him as a prospect is crazy, man. Him as a prospect is crazy. He is 6 foot, 247 pounds. He is 250 pounds at 6 foot. Here's the thing, fellas. He is 247 pounds. He runs a 4.53. Derrick Henry, 247 pounds, runs a 4.53. Derrick Henry is like 6'4". A.J. Dillon is 6 foot. A.J. Dillon is the size and the speed of Derrick Henry, but he's compacted. He's like the second prototype, A.J. Dillon, and he's like more efficient, and he's not faster, but he's, even more compact, man. I'm telling you, dude, compact that down to like 5'10", 5'8". Dude's going to have a gravitational pull, man. Now, again, Aaron Jones, respect, sprained his MCL. He's going to be out for the next 4 to 8 weeks. So that means that it's A.J. Dillon time from now, 4 weeks, so we're at 11, 12, 13, 14, and that's a minimum. So you're going to he's going to ride you into the playoffs. He's going to get you there. Now, will he be with you during the playoffs? I couldn't tell you. But he was super efficient yesterday. He had 21 carries. 21 carries yesterday with a healthy Aaron Jones. He wasn't efficient yesterday. I don't know why I said that, but he got a lot of volume. He had 21 carries yesterday. Now, it was like a weird game where, it was 10-0 Packers versus Seahawks. It wasn't what we wanted it to be. But 21 carries in a game where Aaron Jones was out here, performing, doing well, and then he gets hurt. 21 carries. So it wasn't even a full game, and he got 21 carries. Only 66 yards, but he still had 2 touchdowns on the ground. Again, the efficiency is fine because the whole game wasn't efficient. It was 10 points total. It was like 0-3 heading into the fourth quarter. He also had 2 catches for 62 yards. So the thing about A.J. Dillon, he is not an Aaron Jones, Alvin Kamara type pass catcher where you can line him up outside. But if you can just get him in space and dare a defensive back who's probably like 6 foot 190. If you can just dare a defensive back to have to tackle AJ Dillon in the open field, that's enough. Again, 62 yards on 2 catches. So he's really efficient through the air. He's not going to get the volume through the air. He's going to get the volume between the tackles. He's great on the goal line. He is amazing. So AJ Dillon, what we're all excited for here. Then after that, we have that it's time to get excited for Miles Sanders. Or kind of get excited for Miles Sanders' return. Let's not get out over our skis here with the Miles Sanders return. But the Eagles are starting to trend towards this team that is establishing the run. And I think that it's clicked for them because they're winning games, right? So who did they just beat, the Eagles? They put somebody away that I can't think of who they just played. But they go out there. It's on the tip of my tongue of who they played. I don't know. Chat, help me out. But the Eagles go out there. They go crazy. 142.3 rushing yards per game from weeks 8 through 10, which is crazy because they started out as this team that they weren't running the ball at all. They were literally abandoning the run game with Miles Sanders. He had like 7 carries in one game. They went away from it. I remember the Dallas Cowboys game. They went away from the run game, which is weird when you have Jalen Hurts because these rushing quarterbacks, we talk about it with guys like Lamar Jackson. When you have a guy like Lamar Jackson, you have a rushing quarterback, you get really efficient rushing production from your running backs because the linebackers have to respect the rushing quarterback. So if you do a read option or even just normal handoffs that have the look of a read option is all it takes for them to, freeze up and get some extra yards on those carries. So why they didn't feature Miles Sanders earlier makes no sense. And then Miles Sanders gets hurt. Boston Scott and Jordan Howard comes in, and all of a sudden the Eagles are establishing the run. It's very weird, but I'm excited because once Miles Sanders comes back, I think he's going to split some carries with Jordan Howard, but I think it's going to be in a role where he is still the lead guy on a team that is now ready to rush the ball. So Miles Sanders is a quiet winner, and then on top of that, like the key takeaway is that the Eagles are running the ball a ton. Yeah, so the Eagles played the Broncos. I don't know why I couldn't get that off the top of my head. But going into our third takeaway, and it's Michael Gallup is not good news for the Dallas tight ends. And we probably should have saw this coming, but he comes out here. Michael Gallup himself didn't look great. He had a 15.2% target share. Cooper had a 12.1% target share. Now, do I think that Cooper is going to always have a 12% target share? No. I think that he probably hovers around 20%. Lamb probably hovers around 20%, and Gallup probably hovers around 15%. And now what that does is it squeezes Dalton Schultz out. A guy who had a 19.8% target share without Michael Gallup had a 6.1% target share with Michael Gallup. Now, this is a small sample size, but when you have Michael Gallup and now you have playmakers in the middle of the field, because CeeDee Lamb, before that, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, usually operating on the boundaries. You have, Blake Jarwin, you have Dalton Schultz doing their thing in the middle of the field. Now that you're adding Michael Gallup either on the outside to bring CeeDee Lamb in the slot or, bringing Amari in the slot or Gallup in the slot, it's just a lot more. I mean, the mouth to feed thing, I don't love it, but it is taking away a piece of the pie for Dalton Schultz, who isn't like this extremely talented tight end that is just going to demand targets at will. So with Michael Gallup back, I think Dalton Schultz is probably, a fringy tight end too. A guy that you can start in your tight end spot if you absolutely need to, but I don't think that he is the same, top 8 rest of season guy that we saw during the Michael Gallup injury. Now, moving on, we don't have a graphic for this one. And it's that the Panthers are trying to get this man, Christian McCaffrey, killed. They're trying to get him killed. And I love Christian McCaffrey. He had a great day. He had 26.1 points. He had 17 touches at half. It was his first game back. So that's really great. But 17 touches at half, man. That's a 34 touch pace on a guy who just came back from back-to-back injuries. Please, I'm begging you. If the Panthers staff is watching this, I'm begging you. I'm begging you, man. Please slow it down with Christian McCaffrey. He got 17 touches at half, and then he pulled up his hamstring, and he tweaked something again. He went to the medical tent. It's tough with McCaffrey, man. It's tough because I hope that they ease him in. There isn't anything super actionable here. I think that McCaffrey will be the RB1 rest of season as long as he doesn't get hurt. And if they keep on drilling him into the ground, like they were up by 20 points and they were still getting Christian McCaffrey out there. Now they did slow up eventually. I think that his touches stopped maybe like somewhere in the 25 touches range. But I need them to chill out with them. Also, I wanted to talk about, I do have some concerns with Cam Newton. Not so much that Cam Newton can't pass the ball to him or anything like that. I think the biggest problem with Cam Newton is he's going to vulture some touchdowns. He came out there on the goal line yesterday. They have like a Cam Newton package on the goal line. So when we're talking about Cam, who is very good at scoring touchdowns on the goal line, whether that's quarterback sneaks or, the read option where he just ran around the end, he is somewhat of a problem for McCaffrey, but I will say, don't freak out about it. It's something to note. But again, McCaffrey, I believe, has I think he has 2 3+ point games. Both of them, he didn't score a touchdown. So he doesn't need touchdowns to be amazing in fantasy, but touchdowns would be great for his fantasy production. Which brings us to number 5. The Titans' backfield is a mess, boys. The Titans' backfield is a mess. That's not what I'm looking for. The Titans' backfield is a mess. And Deontay Foreman was the bottom of the totem pole guy last week. Week 9, he had 22.7% of the rush attempts. Then he comes out here this week and goes all the way up to 47.8% of the rush attempts. So he is now the lead guy, but the problem is here is that 47.8% of the rush attempts, without being like the main guy in the passing game, like a Jeremy McNichols, that's not enough. None of these guys are startable in fantasy, is the problem. And that's why it's such a headache. I hope that one of them emerges. I think Deontay Foreman is by far the best of the bunch. Now, he tore his Achilles early in his career, guys, but I'm telling you, if you go back, pull up those Deontay Foreman highlights from college, man. He was a dog at Texas. He was a dog. I want to say that I read a tweet somewhere that said he won the Doak Walker Award, which is the best running back in football, kind of the Blitnikoff, but for running backs. He won that over Dalvin Cook, I believe. Don't quote me on it. I believe that he did. He was really good in college, man. He has a lot of burst, and he came out here. He had most of the touches. The problem is that the Titans coaching staff are such they're old school football guys. I was listening to the broadcast on Red Zone, and they were saying, Adrian Peterson only had 2.1 yards per carry in the first game, but the Titans coaching staff was raving about them, saying, or raving about Peterson, saying, he's out here. I know it was 2.1 yards per carry, but you see the spin move, you see him, fight for extra yardage on the goal line and get that touchdown. So I don't think that we're going to see a passing of the torch anytime soon. Deontay Foreman can run away with it. I want to say Deontay Foreman, he had 78 total rushing. He had 78 total yards. I want to say that McNichols and Peterson had 28 total yards combined. So he absolutely, from an efficiency standpoint, he looked way better than Jeremy McNichols and Adrian Peterson. I think that he is trending towards being the main guy, but we could go out next week and the three of these could be rearranged and it wouldn't shock me at all. If Jeremy McNichols was the leading rusher next week, it wouldn't shock me at all. So there's not really any continuity. The takeaway here is that the backfield is a mess. Then I need the dubs in the chat. Don't think that I forgot this from when I first started this live stream. Don't think I forgot, Andrew. Don't think I forgot. Let me put this right here. Let me put this on my dome. Put this on the headband. Look at this. Thanks for talking about Romandre Stevenson the past couple of weeks of the waiver wire vids. He won me this week. Thanks. No, thank you, Andrew. Thank you for watching the video, listening to what I said, grabbing the player off waivers, man. You love to see it. Romandre Stevenson dubs all around. If I could get crazy on here, I would. But Romandre, it is officially my takeaway is that it is Romandre Stevenson season. Now, if you have Romandre Stevenson on your team, if you picked him up off waivers when I put him in the videos, make sure drop a W in the chat, drop a like on the video. It is officially Romandre Stevenson season. Look at this, man. Where's the JJ Zacharyson tweet? Pull up the JJ Zacharyson tweet. He saw Romandre Stevenson 20 carries, 100 yards, 5 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns, and he had 4 catches for 14 yards through the air. Now, mind you, rushing on the ground, looked super explosive, really good at football. Between the tackles, really explosive. We then have 4 catches on a day where the Patriots killed the Browns and Mac Jones only had 19 completions. So we're out here. This is huge. Romandre Stevenson, he saw 69% of New England's running back rushes. He saw 20% of the targets. Guys, that doesn't just happen in New England. Now, I know that Damian Harris is out. I know that James White is out, but they still had Brandon Bolden, J.J. Taylor. He's somebody. Belichick is going to rotate in his running backs. And as a guy that always runs a committee, always has like 3-4 running backs that he'll rotate to, the fact that Romandre Stevenson hit those numbers, 20% target share, 69% of the running back rushes, that was only the fourth time a running back of Belichick's has hit that since 2011. Stevenson's got juice like that, man. Stevenson's got juice like that because there's been weeks this year where Romandre Stevenson was a healthy scratch, J.J. Taylor and Brandon Bolden were healthy, and then so was Damian Harris. So a three-headed backfield in that same exact setup, and Damian Harris wasn't hitting numbers like that. Damian Harris can't catch like Romandre Stevenson. So Romandre Stevenson now has a few outs for us to be, really profit in fantasy here because he wins in all phases. DKB is saying that Romandre Stevenson slimmed down. I don't doubt that at all because he ran a pretty bad 40, but he looks really explosive. He runs between the tackles extremely well. He has great hands. He's pretty good at pass protection. I know that he had that one missed read, but he can hold his own back there as long as he knows what the schemes are. He is a do-it-all running back. So now he has a couple of outs to really win big for us because the first scenario is that Damian Harris is like head injury, whatever. It keeps him out for multiple weeks. Then boom, Romandre Stevenson's going crazy. Second out is he plays himself, he plays so well that he's undeniable and he plays over Damian Harris. Now that's like 1%, 2% outcome. 3% or the third option I think is probably the most likely is that he plays well enough to establish himself a role in this offense, kind of like what James White had before he went down, where he can get all of the receiving work. All the running back targets go to Romandre Stevenson, and then the change of pace work where he gets the carries as well goes to Romandre Stevenson, and then we could see him in a nice like RB3 type role where he's startable in fantasy. So get excited, get fired up for Romandre Stevenson, fellas. All right. Our seventh takeaway, our seventh lesson learned. The Chiefs are back. That's the takeaway. The Chiefs are pretty much back, fellas. They beat the Raiders 41-14 on the road. Now, I don't love the Raiders, but they've been pretty good this year. And Mahomes looked like Mahomes. These games that they've had, they weren't losing a lot of them. Now, obviously, I think they're like around 500, but they weren't losing a bunch. Not the super chat. Let me put this up. This guy has a great show. Help him grow. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Appreciate you, Captain Spock. I'll leave that up for a second here. So with the Chiefs, appreciate the super chat as well, man. So with the Chiefs is they weren't losing these games, right? So they just barely beat, was it the Packers with, Jordan Love at quarterback? But Mahomes just wasn't looking like himself. He comes out here, throws 35 completions on 50 attempts, 406 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I mean, he looked great. Kelsey had 8 catches for 119 yards. Tyreek Hill had 7, 83 and 2. 7 catches, 83 yards, 2 touchdowns. We had Darrell Williams even eat. Here's the crazy part, man. Darrell Williams led the team in catches yesterday. And of course, I go up against him in my home league with one of my buddies. You guys remember the home league video that I put out in the summer? The guy with the popped like 4 collars and the toothpick in his mouth. But of course, he had Darrell Williams on his 0 RB team. He had 9 catches for 101 yards and a touchdown through the air. I want to say no, but he had the most catches on the entire team. Now, the thing about Darrell Williams is he only had 11 carries for 43 yards rushing. So they've been pretty inefficient on the ground even last night. So there is, just a little bit of a side note, there is room for CEH to slide right in here because they haven't been efficient on the ground if he does show something. Now, this is a great point by George Ali. OG of the channel. George Ali's been commenting, been supporting the channel since we were at maybe 400 subscribers. But Jackson Mahomes wasn't there. I think after last night, Jackson Mahomes needs to be banned from attending Chiefs games. Now, what do we got now? What do we got? Oh. What do we got next? We got our 8th takeaway. And I hate doing this. I hate instilling panic in my subscribers and you guys, but it is truly time to panic on Mike Williams. It's time to panic, and I hate saying panic. I hate putting those words out there, but it's tough, man. It's tough when we're looking at Mike Williams. He's just not seeing the volume recently. Since Week 6, he is the wide receiver 80 in points per game. And we've been starting him in all those weeks, man. I've been starting him myself in one of my leagues. It's been absolutely tough. He's just not seeing the volume anymore. Keenan Allen has clearly surpassed him as like that wide receiver 1 on this team at this point. Now, I am somebody that says, that doesn't matter. The thing is that Keenan Allen has surpassed him into territory where Mike Williams isn't even like a top 24 wide receiver at this point. He has seen 16 targets week 8, 9, 10. 16 targets in 3 games actually doesn't sound bad. That's like 5 targets a game. In the earlier games, when we're talking about 56, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 56 divided by 6 is more towards the range of like 9 targets a game. So almost like cut in half on a per game basis. What's good, Derek? But it's just tough. He had the 4-game stretch. I wasn't high on Mike Williams. I was pretty skeptical. I saw the games. He looked great. Now, the thing is, on the other side, I want to say the Chargers lost yesterday. Man, who did they just play, the Chargers? Man, now we got to Google that. It always slips away from me. Charger NFL schedule. Of course, here we go. What do we got? They played the Vikings. They lost to the Vikings. They just barely beat the Eagles. They lost to the Patriots, lost to the Ravens. So they've lost 3 of their last 4, and they just barely beat a bad Eagles team. Or not a bad, but an Eagles team that they don't want to lose close games to. So after being amazing, through those first stretch of games, during Mike Williams. On top of that, Justin Herbert hasn't looked as great. But I will say it is time. You can't just brush it off as variance, as he'll be fine. Mike Williams is officially, in my opinion, probably wide receiver 3 territory. Now, Derek Richard, the boy, an absolute psycho with the super chats on here. I appreciate it, my brother. $28 for Mr. AJ Dillon. You missed the AJ Dillon spiel, but you can always go back. AJ Dillon is my most owned running back on Underdog. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Maybe we'll do a little quick promo for the boys over at Underdog. Love those guys. Let me see if I can pull this up. But this is, dude, Derek has been huge on AJ Dillon this year. I made that video, AJ Dillon, workhorse running back. I think it got a decent amount of views when I came out with it. But yeah, so here this is. Let me put this up here just to show you guys where we're at. Man, we're zoomed in. But yeah, here we are on Underdog. By the way, Underdog, the place to be for best ball. The boy Derek, the guy who just put $28 in here, he has the money to spend, dude. He's been in the Discord. He's up like thousands of dollars on Underdog playing their weekly drafts. Pretty much like tonight, if you hop on here, you draft a team, and you can pretty much draft like a DFS lineup, and then whoever wins in that tournament, you can get like thousands of dollars just by drafting the right set of players. And if you hop on here, you deposit, use promo code ROM when you deposit, and they will match your deposit up to $100. Underdog themselves. This promo is like wild. You can, like it used to be in the summer, it was use my promo code, you get $20 for free. If you use my promo code and you put in $20, you get $20 back. $50, you get $50 back. They'll match it all the way up to $100. You can play their drafts like Derek does. You can play their pick'em games. They have a bunch of crazy stuff. But here we are. I have AJ Dillon as my top ranked running back. I need him to pop off here, or my top owned running back. I need him to pop off because as you guys can see, we have Ronald Jones and Saquon Barkley. So it hasn't been the best for these two. Now back to the regular scheduled program here. We got takeaway number 9. And I hate to do this one because I love the guy. I love Courtland Sutton. I've always been a Courtland Sutton guy, but he's been struggling. It's been tough. Now, Courtland Sutton, his averages in 6 games without Jerry Jeudy. This year, 9.1 targets per game, 24.8% target share. In 4 games with Jerry Jeudy this year, he has had 3 targets per game, 9.7% target share. It's been tough. It's been really tough because I'm still bullish on Sutton long term. I think that he's a very talented wide receiver. The recent stretch is just tough. And I think it's tough to expect top 30% production from him when we're talking about Teddy Bridgewater, who's not going to support a ton of weapons. I know he did last year, but we have Sutton, we have Tim Patrick, we have Jerry Jeudy, Noah Fant, even Albert O gets a ton of looks. Even Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams get a ton of looks. So there's not a ton to go around. I really don't know what it is that makes it so Sutton can't get any targets with Jeudy. I don't know what it is, and it sucks. But as long as Judy's in there, Sutton is a fringe wide receiver 3 at best, which really sucks because without Judy, the guy is a stud. I really like Sutton, and if he is a really good wide receiver, he should be able to command targets even with Jerry Jeudy in the lineup. So I think we will see. I think we'll see it climb a little bit, but there isn't overall enough volume in this offense for Sutton to be anything but a boomer bust wide receiver 3 at this point. Now our 10th takeaway is that the Mike White thing was silly. It was silly. Now, I also want to say something else. I went to Dick's Sporting Goods. I don't know why I said Sporting Goods. I just didn't want to say Dick's without, I just didn't want to say Dick's open-ended. That's all it was. I didn't just want to, say I went to Dick's. But I went there with my mother. She offered to buy, there was some kind of 20% off thing at Dick's. So she was like, oh, we'll go to Dick's and you can buy whatever for like up to $100. And I'll be honest with you guys. I have to confess, as a Jets fan, I pull up to Dick's, and I could have easily gotten a Zach Wilson jersey that she would have paid for, which would have been nice because, I am 20 years old. I'm not trying to go out here and pay $130 for a jersey. So she could have bought, I had the option to buy a Zach Wilson jersey on my mother's dime, and I decided not to. And I hate it. I was like, maybe I'll buy it. I'll put it in the back of the videos sometimes, and, maybe I'll wear it on game days and stuff. I just felt like it was a bad time to pay retail for a Zach Wilson jersey, $130, when one, I can just get it off DHgate for like $30, and two, I don't want to buy a real-ass authentic jersey for Zach Wilson, who hasn't been playing the best, who's missed a couple games here and there. Maybe he won't be the quarterback of the future. It just didn't feel like a great investment. So instead, I got 3 sweatshirts. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Let me know what you guys think about that. I don't know. Maybe I should have copped Zach Wilson jersey. It would have been cool. It was like one of the white ones. It's like a real authentic jersey I could have bought. But saw a couple of sweatshirts I liked, so I copped those instead. Now, regardless, the Mike White thing was silly to begin with. It was insane, fellas. Everyone on Twitter talking about him. He's like, oh, he's the next Tom Brady. He's going to come out here and be amazing. Look, I'm a Jets fan. I was rooting for Mike White, but the guy had 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, only had a 4 average depth of target. 4 average depth of target is really bad. 4 yards was the average, depth of his throw. And then he also had 2 interceptions in that game against the Bengals. Was it great? Yes. But Zach Wilson also had a win against the Titans that was really spectacular. And on top of that, I was telling you guys, I said it in the waiver wire video I just recorded, but I'm a firm believer. My buddy who's a Jets fan pointed out to me on Twitter is Matt LaFleur. Once Zach Wilson was gone, Matt LaFleur, the offensive coordinator for the Jets, who's like under that, like, is it Mike LaFleur or is it Matt LaFleur? I always get it confused. But the LaFleur brother that's not on the Packers, he comes in. He's going to be running that 49ers McVay type offense, modern type offense, and then he wanted to go up in the booth to call plays so we can see like the all-22. The thing is, with a rookie quarterback, Zach Wilson preferred him to be on the sidelines talking him through things. The problem is that when that happens, the offensive coordinator can't call plays to his full potential. He can't see the entire field. So now some OCs do call it from the sideline, but LaFleur prefers being upstairs. Then Wilson gets hurt. Mike White comes in. LaFleur goes up to the booth, and all of a sudden they're running creative plays. I've never seen creative plays like they've been running during a Jets regime, where they're running, like trick plays and opening things up, taking deep shots, and they're on top of that, they have a really high neutral pass rate, where in neutral situations they're passing the ball a lot. They're passing the ball over expectation, which is huge. You want to see that in modern offenses. So I think that propped up Mike White a little bit. I mean, all those quarterbacks have looked good. Joe Flacco came in yesterday. He threw like 3 for 3 and a touchdown. What's his name? Josh Johnson comes in for Mike White on the Colts game. I think that he threw like 3 touchdowns against the Colts and put up a good amount of points. I think that the offense is just flowing better. So I will say the Mike White thing has been pretty wild. So I think he has been propped up just by a good offense, good coaching. I don't think he was ever that great. I actually think it's probably better for Zach Wilson that Mike White isn't good, right? That Mike White came out here to look bad, because I don't really want a quarterback controversy where, okay, Mike White, he lights up who do we just play? He lights up the Bills. We beat the Bills. Now all of a sudden, okay, we got to ride Mike White. But if Mike White's not the long-term answer and we're letting Zach Wilson sit on the bench, one, we need to get him playing games. So this is from like a Jets fan, Jets GM perspective. We need to get Zach Wilson playing games so we know if he's good long-term or if we have to cut ties. And two, I think it screws up with your quarterback's mentals if he's sitting on the bench for some other guy that's not even in your future. It's like, oh, how much do you guys really believe in me? Kind of like the Tua thing that went on last year. So I like this for Zach Wilson. I'm glad that Mike White is kind of done with here. I hope Zach Wilson comes in. You guys know I'm still pretty bullish on Zach Wilson. I haven't moved him that far down in my dynasty rankings. I have him at quarterback 16 for now. I'm still pretty bullish on him long term. I liked what I saw in that Titans game. He takes chances down the field. Does he make dumb decisions all the time? Yes, but he's a rookie quarterback. I do just like his arm. He throws it deep. He's not afraid to throw it deep. So that's my take on the Zach Wilson situation. Now, that's going to do it for today, fellas. What time is it? 7:45. Trying to figure if we got anything else we could do in here. What else could we do here? I think it's probably too close to kickoff to run any kind of underdog draft. Let's see if there is an underdog draft. I'm kind of down to run one up. Let's see. What are we thinking, boys? What are we thinking? I'm down to answer some questions for a little bit. I'll probably hop out of here at 8, so I don't miss any of the game. What do we got? Are there any drafts still on for tonight? All right, so it's still open for the next 23 minutes. All right, let's do it. All right, fellas. You guys want to hop in an underdog draft with me? Why not? Dude, I got 64 of you guys in here. Why not hop in a little draft ski? All right, I'm going to count down in a second. I'm going to enter one of these, all right? Max entries. I only get one entry in here. All right, boys. I'm gonna click enter. I feel like the chat is kind of delayed, but I could be wrong. All right, I'm gonna click enter. Let me know if any of you guys in the chat see this right now. Should I stick around and hang out with you guys? We got 66 people in here. What are we saying, fellas? Should I stick around and hang out? Run up a little draft here, hang out? What are we saying? Derek, if you're in here, I'm gonna need you to help me. I honestly. Oh, this is a $25 entry here? Huh. I'm actually kind of down though. Let's run it. All right, let's run it. I'm in. It's only 3-person draft. All right, if anybody wants to hop in here and challenge me, come through. Derek, what's the optimal strategy here? Okay, I need to see what's actually going on. So we're starting just 4 flexes. The 4 best flexes possible. What's your strategy here, Derek? Do you just take the 4 best possible essentially, or do you have any kind of strategy in terms of what kind of players you're taking? If anybody wants to hop in here, you're welcome to. Oh shit, we're filled. All right, let's do it then. Let's do it. First pick and pray some donkey takes Van Jefferson. 3rd pick. All right, if I don't get Kupp, who am I going here? Do I go Debo or do I go Darrell Henderson? All right, fuck. I'm not super prepared for this, boys. Fellas, do I take Debo or Darrell Henderson, boys? What are we thinking? Do you go for any kind of stacking, Derek? All right, so he took Cup, obviously. God damn it, man. All right. I guess we're going Henderson. Jeez. I don't know what I'm doing. Hold on. Trying to pull up some respectable projections on my phone. And of course I didn't make the right call between Debo and Henderson, but here we are. Now I'm on the clock. So what, Mitchell or Ayuk here? All right, we're going Mitchell. All right, here we go. So I should have gone Debo. I think that's pretty clear there. So I already kind of suck. So now what can I do? I think it's probably Odell Beckham time. Man, I should have gone with a tight end. Should I go No, I'm not going with a tight end. I'm going Odell Beckham. All right, Odell Beckham. Here it is. Damn. I shouldn't have gone Henderson and Elijah Mitchell. That had to be Debo right there. Damn, that had to be Debo. Live and you learn. You live and you learn. Damn, that had to be Debo. So Wilson, Kyle Juszczyk, Ben Skowronek, Trent Sherfield, Travis Benjamin. Man, oh man. It's got to be a wide receiver. I think Skowronek isn't bad. Oh, man. Skowronek it is. Oh, man, that didn't feel good. I think that's $25 down the drain. I think that's $25 lit on fire right there. Oh, man. Oh, no. I don't think that was a good move. Not good. Because if I went Odell, I can't go Skowronek. I think one or the other probably performs. But I didn't like Trent Sherfield. I don't know, man. That was not what I wanted there. Oof. Not good. Whatever. This needed to be Debo, Odell Beckham, and then probably another 49ers wide receiver. Fine. You live and you learn. Whatever. All right, fellas. Decided to run one of those up real quick for the one time. Remember, if you want to hop on Underdog Fantasy, try one of those out. Use my promo code ROM when you deposit. Underdog will match your deposit up to $100. So it's a really cool promo. I don't know why they're doing it, but they are. I don't know how long, though. Now, I'm going to go upstairs, get some nice food going, hang out with Winnie, watch this game. I hope you guys have a wonderful Monday night. Waiver wire video coming out tomorrow. We have some interesting things planned for this week. I have a 2022 rookie mock draft for those of you guys out there who are Dynasty sickos. Again, I love you guys. Make sure you go down below, subscribe, leave a like. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one.
I got the juice. 10-0, Chatham's on. Foolies glad I'm home. Even my haters kinda glad I'm on. Rest in peace to my vagabond. Rapper, song, singer, suspended, subpoena from Mr. Meaner.